Hello everyone, I have for you another video with the Distress ink color combos. I'm using the inks that come in the mini ink kits. If you are not familiar with the kits, I will insert a photo. This is how I buy the inks. I wait till the kit is available and I wanted to see what kind of color combinations you can create with each kit. In this video, I'm using the kit number 4 and this is the kit and the swatch. And the colors in this kit are Spun Sugar, Scattered Straw, Evergreen Bough, and Shaded Lilac. Not to make this video too long, I have for you 3 backgrounds with different color combinations, which in the second half of the video I make into cards, because I cannot not make cards. But to give you some idea on how all the inks look like when combined with each other, I created swatches. I wanted to see all the colors and how they blend with each other and what colors they create when blended together. Here, the yellow and green look really beautiful, and I really like the yellow and pink because when combined, it creates a very nice orange or peach. And here you can see another set. The yellow and purple is my least favorite because when combined, it creates, I would say, olive green, which by its own is very pretty, also with just the yellow that would fit, but if you added the purple, at least I'm not a fan. So these are all the color combos you can create with these inks. As I said, I was going to create only 3. It was quite difficult to pick one. So let's start with the color combo number 1. Here I used the Evergreen Bough and Shaded Lilac. I did a simple background with lighter focal point in the middle using the Shaded Lilac, and then I applied Evergreen Bough around it. And I was blending the inks together. And because for the card I will be using a stamp with a flower, I wanted the purple to be around the place where the petals will be, and then the green where the leaves will be. The Shaded Lilac was quite difficult to apply because it's so pale and I needed to apply multiple layers. Also, the cardstock was not helpful either. I used the Canson XL watercolor cardstock. I love this cardstock when blending distress inks because it's so smooth, but it's not bright white. So with the lighter inks like these, it takes a few layers. But no problem, I got there eventually. And the green was much easier to apply as it's a bit darker. The first background is almost done, just applying a last layer of the Evergreen Bough. I really like this background and I like the color that these 2 inks create. It's this pretty bluish color. So let's work on the second background. I'm using here the Spun Sugar and Scattered Straw. I really like the idea creating mountains again, like I did in the video for the previous kit. So I created 2 stencils. I just stirred up a piece of paper in the shape of mountains. I started with creating the sky using the Spun Sugar at the top of the sky and the Scattered Straw at the bottom of the sky. And I stopped around the place where I want the mountains to start. For the Spun Sugar, I needed more layers as it's really pale, just like the Shaded Lilac. I don't think the ink really needs re-inking, I just think it's really pale. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I was swapping the inks, building the color, and I was blending them in the middle as it creates a really pretty orange or peach, which is perfect for a sky. After I was happy with the look of the sky, I started with the mountains. I wanted to create 2 rows of mountains, one orange and the other pink. I placed my stencil on top of my cardstock, I secured it with a washi, and then I started applying the inks. I started with a scattered straw and I applied it below the stencil. And to create the peachy color, I used the Spun Sugar and I applied it over the scattered straw. For this hill, I only needed 2 layers, one layer using the yellow ink and the other using the pink ink. I removed the stencil. You can reuse it for the second row, but I wanted to have for the second row smaller hills, so I created another stencil. Here I only used the Spun Sugar and I applied a few layers to make the color darker. The second background is finished. I absolutely love it. You can definitely use this color combo for the full panel, but I thought creating the mountains is something different and easy to do. For the third color combo, I used all the inks. Because I was inspired by the background in the first kit, I created another landscape background, this time with sky and sea. I first used a painter's tape to separate the sky from the sea, and I also used a circle punch to create a mask for the sun. This, however, is optional. And then I started blending. For this background, I used multiple color combos. I started with the shaded lilac at the top, and below it, I used the Spun Sugar. I absolutely love this color combination. I actually wanted to use this one for the first background, but then there would be too much pink. Below the Spun Sugar, I used the scattered straw, which creates the same color combo as on the second background. And I applied multiple layers using the purple and pink to build the darker colors. So the sky is done. It looks really nice, exactly what I wanted. And if you don't want to create a landscape, you can apply the inks from top to bottom. And you could also use the Evergreen Bough and apply it at the top because it blends very well with the shaded lilac. But I used the Evergreen Bough for the sea. I moved the painter's tape and I placed it over the sky. It's important to use tape that is not too sticky. And then I started applying the ink. Since I added the sun, I wanted to create a reflection over the water. All I did, I just left a V-shape like section without anything that is leading towards the sun. And along the edges, I made the ink darker. I also used the shaded lilac along the edges. I applied it over the green because when combined, it creates a darker shade, more on the blue side, which I think it's very pretty. And I applied additional layer of the Evergreen Bough and finished up the blending. The backgrounds are done. Here are all of them. I absolutely love them. I think these color combos look really beautiful. And if you like them as well, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And now let's make the cards. Starting with the first background, here I used a stamp with flowers. I also used a greeting, simple hello. It was part of the stamp set with the flowers. And I stamped it with the Versamark ink, and then I heat embossed it using a white embossing powder. You can use whatever stamp or a die that you already have. That's what I do for these backgrounds. I just pick a random stamp that I think fits. The flower looks really nice, and I could just adhere the panel on top of a card base as it looks good as it is. But when I use distress inks and I stamp and heat emboss a flower, I like to use the distress inks, mainly the ones I used for the background, and watercolor the image. And that's what I did here. I squished the inks on a slick surface, and using a watercolor brush, I colored the image. Doing this, it adds additional color to the image, and it helps it to stand out more. It's not a must, you can skip it, but this is something I just like to do. I'm done with the coloring. You can see that this helps the image to stand out a bit more. I adhered the panel on top of a card base. I used a white card base. I thought it fits perfectly with the white embossing. So let's move on to the second card. Here I just added a greeting. I picked this happy birthday sentiment that I pre-made. I used a foam tape so it's a little bit raised. And I adhered at the top of the panel. And I also wanted to add a few silhouettes of birds. These are very easy to draw. You could use a black fine liner or a marker, but I knew I had a stamp set that contains birds. And I was lazy to draw, so I used that. I stamped a few birds in different sizes across the sky using a black ink. Here is the finished card in more close-up. For this one, I used a card base that I made out of a craft cardstock. I really love this card. I love the color combo with the pink and the yellow, and in the middle it creates orange. Love it. I'm definitely using it for another background in the future. To create the third card was very simple. I just added a greeting. The greeting says, "Just for you." It fits across the whole panel, and I adhered it along the C line, and here I also used a foam tape. I thought I will create some clouds and waves across the sea, or at least add some birds. You can definitely do that, but this time I wanted to keep it clean and simple. And here is the finished card. I love this one as well. It's so pretty and there was hardly any effort creating it. I hope you enjoyed this video and will try some of these color combos yourself. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.